Hello there, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. It's always good if somebody can let me know in the chat so that we feel good about everybody having a chance to absorb all the content today. But thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us here. I'd say this one will probably go 30 to 40 minutes, something along those lines. And so I also think it's important these days with all the different content that's out there for you guys to very quickly know if you're in the right place at the right time. So you're in the right place at the right time if you currently dedicate or want to dedicate a portion of your portfolio to short-term trading to grow your portfolio faster. So I think it's important then to help you understand what we mean by short-term. So we do some day trading on pretty rare occasion. Most of our trades generally last several days to hopefully several weeks. A lot of it is dictated ultimately by market action. So on a week like we've had this past week, we've had to stop and reverse some positions fairly quickly. But that's not what we hope for. It's just ultimately what the market is doing with such big gyrations. So generally, several days to several weeks is what we mean by short term. If that sounds like that might be you. Now, that can be all of what you do or just part of what you do. There's a big number of people involved in this trading room where they've got a lot of their capital, and rightly so, in retirement-minded portfolios, high relative safety stocks, over with Jim Penna and retirement services, and that is ideally what most folks should do. But if you find yourself younger in age, or you've got a tranche of capital that you want to try to grow more quickly, then this is going to be the right venue for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you that you can adapt and you can thrive no matter what the market throws at you. We're going to show you some techniques and some tools that help us make money 8 or 9 months out of every calendar year. And so it's quite impressive. And historically, we're clocking close to 40% returns year on year with this methodology. So it's very, very productive. But it's, you got to make sure that the shoe fits you as what you're trying to accomplish. So you are going to be more active. And I want to make that clear, right up front. My name is Steve Chappell. I'm the Director of Trading Systems Development here at VectorVest. And I've been here, I can't even count them anymore. How long has it been? I don't know. Let's just say more than 20 years, more than 22, probably more than 24. I'm struggling to think of it right now. But anyway, it's been quite a ride, quite a journey. And, what this does is gives me an opportunity to continue to help others. And I'm just a small part of a very highly educated and dynamic team of people just like me. I'm one small cog in the wheel, if you will. But all of us, from top to bottom, we pride ourselves in delivering the best stock market guidance you can get anywhere at any price. And today's webcast being free, I think we're going to hit that bar pretty easily. All right, so let's go on. All right, in order to make this a reality, what do we need to have happen? Well, we're going to need the right tools, and therefore we will ultimately be able to adapt and thrive in any market conditions. So the tools are the main driver here. And so a lot of you are going to see some tools that are going to be certainly novel, things that you haven't seen before, and maybe you've heard about them, maybe you've attended some of these webcasts in the past, but they are different and they are very effective. And so we're going to talk about how we do what we do, and then we're going to show you some of the trades that we're in now, why, that kind of thing, and what we're going to be looking to do, hopefully going into next week. Sound good? All right, let's get to it, because I don't like PowerPoint. I want to get in the product and show people around. Okay, so here we go. This is today's action. And boy, it's good to see some green again. And some pretty robust green, honestly. When NASDAQ really went flying, almost 2%. Well, let's go ahead and call it 2 at 1.99. It's a big day. And a lot of the big tech stocks Mag 7 stocks and such came surging back today. So in the trading room, what we mentioned several days to several weeks is kind of the time horizon on the trades, right? So how do we accomplish that? What are we looking at? And it does start right here on the homepage. First thing we do, first order of business every morning. Incidentally, I might as well go ahead and talk quickly about the group because it kind of relates directly to what we're doing right now. So this is a quick example of what we call the Jockey Club, okay? And the Jockey Club is a group of now many, many hundreds of folks. One day it'll be thousands. I keep waiting for that, but many, many hundreds get together every morning, okay? And we get together at 9 a.m., which gives us a half-hour prep time before the market opens up to start lining our trades for the day up before the bell even rings. Now, a lot of times, that homework may or may not come to fruition. We might find better trades that we like just through the course of action before we actually pull a trigger. But we do try to line some trades up before the bell even rings when possible. And on other days, when things are less kind of sure on what we see, we'll kind of get positions ready for either direction, should the market go the other way, kind of a deal. So today was a pretty no-brainer, after the GDP, the PCE report rather, that the market was going to have a pretty good rally. And of course, you had some good reporting from Google and such to start getting things kickstarted yesterday evening. So pretty no-brainer that we're going to be looking to buy some stocks today, which the guys did. I'm on the graveyard shift this week doing the color guard, so I wasn't in the trading room this week at all, and I was on vacation the prior week. But there's a team of 3 of us. Glenn was in there, I believe, this morning, and he bought NVIDIA with leverage, and he bought semiconductors with leverage, and rightly so. And so we'll take a look at those and why we might pick them. But in order for us to do that, it's not just based on the news that we're seeing there. One of the other key attributes that we are going to start looking at first is in the trend column. So we always trade consistent with the primary wave, or that should be the goal. There's always going to be an exception based on something that we might see through experience, but 98% of the time, we're not going to be selling stocks short, for example, if the primary wave is up. We're going to be looking to buy stocks long. Now, we may or may not buy stocks that day if the market doesn't follow through. So we have a tool for that. We have another tool. So far, we're talking about tools everyone has. Is the primary wave up or down? Well, primary wave's up, so we're looking to buy. But how do we know more scientifically whether today's opening action is strong enough to say, hey, yeah, this is follow through? A lot of folks struggle with that, and quite honestly, just looking at price is not enough. Whether the futures are up, down, or how the markets are performing through the first half hours is really not enough. What you need to know is participation and a lot of other things. So if we go into the Derby tab, we have this intraday market timing model, okay? So this is only for people who have the Derby or in the Jockey Club. And what it does is gives you that layer of extra, like a security blanket on really knowing whether markets are following through that day or not. And so what you see here in this box, you see a green bar, you see a red bar, 0 to 2 scale, above 1's good, right? What we would love to see is green way out above 1, red way down below 1, and the greater the disparity, the better. We also analyze that for a period of time in the morning just to make sure that it's continuing to diverge, if you will. And the reason we do that is there's a lot of substance to what's behind just the graphic, okay? It's not only looking at are markets up or down, it's looking at magnitude, it's looking at numbers of stocks that are participating, it's looking at all of the VectorVest strategies to buy or sell stocks and how robust are those portfolios performing. It looks at a lot of data, okay? And so when I click this box, we can look at a little bit of history and just give you a little bit of a feel for it. So if we start with Monday, for example, Monday was a day where eventually towards middle of the day into the early afternoon, things really got cooking. And you can see this is this green line. That's a representation of the green bar that we just saw in the prior Derby tab. The red line is a representation of the red bar, right? So we said we like to see divergence and we like to see big numbers, the bigger the better. So you really start to feel good about things towards the afternoon that day. And if we look at the following day, things became a whole lot more clear a whole lot earlier, right? And that was a day where we jumped on a number of really good trades. Unfortunately, the next day, the market decided, to go the other way, right? But what this tool does is say on April 24th, that's not gonna be a good day to be looking to be making any new purchases for your short-term trades. Nor yesterday, almost in totality. I mean, you got into a situation late in the day where things got pretty level par there, but this morning, this thing surged up over 1.5 pretty early on. And that means that a lot of stocks are participating, okay? Now, I know it pairs off before it goes back up again. Don't tie yourself too much into that, as it's just more important that when we start a campaign that we're trying to start it off on the right foot, okay? And you can see just by looking at this data over the last 5 days, it's largely going to get you started in the right direction on most occasions, okay? Now, there's always going to be days where, Fed Chair Powell may come in the middle of the day and say something, spook the market, and the market turns around, right? Even though you were very bullish that whole day coming in, or vice versa. I mean, those things happen. Those can't be prevented. But what we try to do here is just to, dot our I's and cross our T's the best we can to ensure that the market wind is at our back when we initiate the trade. And that's all you can do as a trader, right? So from there, once we got the timing, so for example, again today, primary wave is up, and then very early on, DTI was up. So Glenn did a couple of trades. And not only did he do a couple of trades, he did a couple of leverage trades because things were up sharply and continuing to move sharply early in the morning. So that was the right call, okay? Now, when we look at maybe some of the positions that we're in, here in a little bit, I'll explain why some of the things that we're picking make a lot of sense outside of what you're about to see now. But this is also very, very important. So we're back on the Derby tab, and you have all these funny names here in the middle with these green bars, and you say, oh my gosh, what the heck is all of this stuff? All right, so I used to do a lot of traveling with Dr. Delito. For many who, if anybody in here somehow doesn't know, he was he's passed, but he was the founder and creator of VectorVest. And I'm a much better man to have known him. Okay, but we spent a lot of time traveling around and talking with folks all over the world. And the single most commonly asked question anywhere at any place on any continent in any town near you was, my gosh, this thing looks awesome. I can see that it's super powerful, but you got all these choices on things that somebody can do, right? So you don't have to tell everybody else that's here. Let's walk over to the corner and you just tell me, what's the number one technique? What's the best thing I can do? What's the best search? What's the best strategy you have in VectorVest? And of course, anybody that's been around the block knows that's a bit of a loaded question. But there are about 13 or so strategies that we do think are probably head and shoulders most of the time above all others, that kind of thing. But what it did secondarily was inspire us to create this tool. And it's modeled after how he initially, and now we, like to pick strategies to invest in the stock market. If anybody's been a VectorVest subscriber for a number of years, you might have heard the terminology riding the wave. And it was a portfolio that we used to track where we would dynamically pick strategies on every market turn. And what he did was had us build a tool that would more quickly get to the answers. What he used to have to do was take, what he thought were his maybe 10 favorite searches, strategies in VectorVest, put them into interactive brokers, see how those baskets of stocks were doing throughout the first half hour of trading, right? And know that they've been working well over the past few days, see how well they're doing that day and say, oh, okay, well, it looks like today I need to pick, Chapel's Champs or whatever the strategy is, because those are the stocks that are really performing. Okay, so what this tool does is do that for you, and it does it with every strategy. Every strategy in VectorVest. You also on the left have the ability to customize things a bit and override certain parameters, price and volume parameters in the scan. So, a lot of times we like to live, at least when I'm in there in the trading room, with prices greater than 10 and average volumes greater than 500,000 to give us plenty of liquidity and, a little bit more stable price action. Realizing, you can still have $11 and $12 stocks in there from time to time. But, what that overrides, say, the scan. So if it's a jailbreak where prices just have to be greater than $1, now that's no longer true. Now they'd have to be greater than 10 or 500,000. Okay, so pretty cool, just that in and of itself. Now the next thing that we can do is we can then say, all right, now I know everything that I'm going to look at here. These are scans that have enough liquidity for me and my style. I can click on a bar. All right, this is the top one today, and I could say, all right, well, which ones are green, which ones are moving the most, and you can do that at any time throughout the day. Okay, so even if this was 15 minutes into the day, I could say, oh, Con-L is really, and that's Coinbase leverage, for example. That's one of our better trades this year, actually. I think we made about 45% on that one not too long ago. But this would be another one I would consider now, actually. There would have been plenty of opportunity from early in the day to be looking at some potential gains with these stocks that are in here is the main focal point for what I'm trying to get across. And generally what we like to do, there's two things we like to do. The first is cherry pick some of these strong performers. Now, I generally don't chase things that are up, more than 20 or 30%. A lot of times just the volatility on those they're very difficult to manage, So it's kind of, oh, I got gambling money kind of thing. I don't like that, okay? Been around the block for too long. But these would have been reasonable earlier in the day in particular. And we could have looked at, timing out some good entries on a couple of these stocks. And, as you gain a little bit of familiarity with VectorVest and so forth, you'll recognize some names in here of some strategies that you just might prefer to use. Ruler stocks is pretty well suitable for anyone. And it's affirming at least that, Amazon, Celsius, NVIDIA, Supermicrocomputer, these are some of your better choices right now. Okay. So the Derby, by nature of how it's put together, you're always going to be looking at what's hot. And sometimes that can be, not maybe what your preconceived notions were heading into the day, which is pretty cool. All right, so that's one approach. We also do, and I might even launch it this coming week on Monday if we have a good day. We have an automated system, and we hadn't turned it loose yet this year because things have been so dicey lately. But when the primary wave first turns up, and I realize that's going to be several days ago at this point, but what we like to do is try to isolate not just what is the top search today, but what's been the best search in VectorVest for the last 3 months, And so we have these other modes of analysis up here. So I can do vary the start date, for example. And when I do that, a calendar pops up here, and I can look at least, or actually up to rather, 3 months worth of data. So that now I'm not basing my decisions on what I'm going to swing trade or what have you based on just what's happening today. Realizing that the scan, there's a lot of value in these are good stocks by nature of the scan typically. But now, even with that nature of the scan being picking good stocks to begin with, now it's been picking consistent winners for the last 64 days is kind of the is kind of the idea here. So, Pirates short, these are some bearish strategies up here at the top. But I can look for what's been the best, most resilient bullish strategy if I'm looking to go long right now, for example, and Smooth Comfort is up there, which is that would be on the list of 13, by the way. Like kind of just one search that typically does pretty well is Smooth Comfort. And the reason for that is it's dealing with high CI stocks that persistently go up the page when the search finds them. They have been going up the page for a long time, okay, on the day that they're found. And so what you have here is a high number of winners on just about any day that you would have picked stocks. And even here recently, 50% is the lowest watermark. Now, as the market's heated up, look at this, 70, 70, 100, 100, 70, 40, 90. So you got a very reliable search, picking a lot of stocks that are going up. Now, these are looking at 10 stocks. Okay, so of the 10 out of 10 have gone higher from the 22nd, 10 out of 10 from the 19th. And there's a good chance that those might be the same stocks because of the nature of this search. But that's okay. I mean, the idea is this, no matter when you would have picked stocks from this scan, it's producing winners. And that's the idea. All right, so the next one is energy stocks, and then Gordon's Groupies, Rare Birds, and these are a lot of names that I wouldn't typically be looking at. And that's what's really cool about the Derby for me, right? Now, energy, if you're not paying attention, boy, energy is really, really under the radar. There's a lot of stocks like Vista Petroleum and, a handful of others that have really, really done well here over the last several months. But anyway, Derby's telling you that. You can still look at those stocks today. What we then like to do is kind of cross-reference that, because this is kind of a buy and hold situation where if I would have bought 10 stocks with that search on any day over the last 3 months, my propensity to make money was best of any search in VectorVest, okay? Energy stocks was second best search. So these were your best bets, just buying and holding stocks for over the last 3 months, okay? Now, if we want to desensitize market direction a little bit, what we can do is call it a sliding window and say, all right, wouldn't it be cool if not only I could find a search where the stocks have done well, buy and hold, but let's face it, maybe just the last 3 or 4 days the stocks did well on that buy and hold, and so that's why it's at the top. It's possible, So what this does, sliding window, is instead of just buying and holding all the way, it just buys and holds for 5 days, 5 trading days. So as you might imagine, stock markets move up and down, right? And we've seen some pretty good swales, both directions. So on a good preponderance of these tests, the market is just going up. On an almost equal preponderance of tests over the last 3 months, the market was going down, right? And in reality, most of the time, stock markets finish kind of level on a week-over-week basis, So just depending on how the market's performing, right? So long story short, it's desensitizing market direction is what it's doing, and saying, all right, if I just blindly use these searches and hold stocks for a week, what strategy would have given me the best chance? And lo and behold, Smooth Comfort is the top one, okay? And then energy stocks is number 2. Now, I don't know how many people saw this webcast a month ago, but Smooth Comfort was the number 1 strategy by both methods of analysis the last time we did this. Okay? So what that means is, if you tuned in last time, hopefully you listened, you looked at Smooth Comfort, and you made some money. So hopefully you get the picture now, right? Because you start looking here, and the opportunity to make money is great, okay? So, all right, let's look then at what kind of stocks Smooth Comfort is finding right now. So the way to do that is go right back to today's Derby. We'll go to spreadsheet view here. We'll go to Smooth Comfort. And lo and behold, these stocks were up not quite 1% today, but they're smooth and they're comfortable. Abercrombie and Fitch, okay, CLS, Modon. There's some great stocks in here, okay. VRT had a really good earnings report. There's that Vista Energy I was talking about. Let's look at all of them. Dell has been, that's a sneaky AI one right there that a lot of people don't realize is a very, very strong AI play and has a good business to begin with, right? There's Abercrombie. There's Celestica. You can see that we've been charting and looking at these stocks. We didn't like what we saw with some of these until now the market's heated back up. Now's the time to buy them again. Okay. So that's the idea here. And I would just focus on the last 3 or 4 days because that's after the market bottom, right? Most of these stocks are nicely higher, okay? Not all of them, but most of them are. And that's all you need. Actually, just truth be told, our Jockey Club hit rate and our success rate is about 44 to 46%. It kind of goes back and forth in that neighborhood. And with 40 to 46% winning picks, our winners are so big compared to our losers that, we do 40 to 60% returns in a given year, generally speaking. Okay, we're off to a slower start this year, but the year is young. So, all right. So hopefully that at least gives you a feel for what we do. I've actually given you some great insight into things that you can do even if you don't even get involved with our Jockey Club. Smooth Comfort is a strategy I would be looking at. And if we look at some of our picks right now, we're in copper long, we're in NVIDIA with leverage, and SOX with leverage, and Harmony Gold. And if we look at these are all great picks for lots of reasons, okay? One, I've been trading a long time, and I became very fond. I actually taught some Traders Expos, and I've been in the room with Linda Bradford Ratchke a few times. And this was a holy grail Bradford Ratchke pick here, where prices came back down on good uptrend to the 20-day average. Kiss, kiss. Once you start to make a new high and start to push away, that's when you buy, okay? It's a wonderful, wonderful strategy. And so that's that. Harmony Gold is also a holy grail. Okay. It's not getting up and off the mat quite as quick right now. I think a lot of that has to do with kind of the reinvigoration of tech. So some money is probably sliding away from the gold market right now a little bit. But this is the best gold stock in VectorVest, and by a very big, pretty good margin. And it's not your Newmont, it's not your Barrick, it's not a name that a lot of folks are going to know. Look at this earnings down here, guys. Okay, this company is making money, man, and they do the best job of any of them right now. And so if I was going to pick a gold stock, Harmony Gold, that's the one, and has been the one for a long time. I'm trying to find a value here so I can put that on for you and just show you it's well undervalued, and value is actually climbing faster than price right now. Okay, so value's up here with this green line. That's being driven by how much money they're making. So this is a great buying opportunity if gold has a bright future, and I think there's going to be more uncertainty down the line, and gold's still a good play. NVIDIA, now this is the leveraged, but you'll get the idea. This market, we got into a situation where the buy to sell ratio got down in the 0.2s, didn't quite get below 0.2 for a classic bottom fishing, but certainly there was bottom fishing opportunities on big stocks like NVIDIA. NVIDIA came down to a level of support. We actually bought it here, got stuffed out the next day, but recently bought it again today. We tried to grab it off the low. It was just too much downside to where we just pulled the plug on it just to make sure that this low was actually going to hold. But we're back into it and feeling very confident about NVIDIA at this point. So yeah, great pick by Glenn today. I actually picked it, was it Tuesday? But we kind of got snuffed out. before we got going again. Okay, and then socks, same deal. We snuffed this one out at a profit, which was fine, and now we're back into it again. Okay. All right, so that's how it works. You know, that's the kind of guidance and so forth that you're going to get in this trading room. You know, and on top of that, it's a community now. So we have our own little chat. There are many. There's people that have been with me in the trading room now for 10 years that are in that chat, and they've been using these tools, just like you will be, for the 10 years, and love it. You know, couldn't live without it. And what's wonderful about that, the reason I bring it up is a lot of times you get some pretty good ideas on some things to trade from what they're finding out on their own. You know, they might be a little bit more nimble and able to look at some things while we're still trying to discuss something else for everyone. And they'll bring some really good picks to the table, which is really cool. We spend a lot of time looking at the Midas touch list as well. That has provided us a lot of winning trades over the last 10 years. And you know, you got some stocks, even some Chapel's Champ stocks up here at the in the Midas touch list right now, like the Lifeway, and some really good looking stuff in there. Here's another gold stock that we made some pretty good money with earlier in the year, GAU. And again, that's not a stock that typically, and that one is more thinly traded. But not a stock that typically very many folks are going to know about. But look at the price performance on this, okay? I mean, that's better than the performance of gold itself. And so that's, you know, this is the kind of thing that you're gonna stumble across in the club. So anyway, I promised you 30 to 40 minutes, and we're rounding third base coming home, because I figure at this point, hopefully, you know, you've already started to make some decisions. Hey, this sounds pretty cool, and I like what these guys are doing, and I wanna just check this thing out. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a way that you can do that. So we learned how to keep the wind at our back on our short-term trades. We're gonna use the primary wave. We're also then gonna help time it out with the DTI, so that it's not stressful. Primary wave is up, great, good. Is the DTI up? Okay, good. Is it above 1.2? Good. Is it diverging from the red line? Okay, good. We can buy stocks. Okay. Is the DTI not above 1? We cannot buy stocks. That simple. Okay. There's no such thing as you can't do it. The only thing I cannot make you do is want to do it. So I've been using VectorVest for a long time. It's made me a millionaire. And, you know, I'm here to help, okay? The only thing that I can't do is make you want to. I can do everything else. We can do everything else. The only thing we cannot do is make you want it. So that's something you're going to have to do on your own. But you can do it if you want to, okay? You can adapt and thrive no matter what the market throws at you. We're going to show you how. There's a 30-day trial. It's 29 bucks. It's less than $1 a day. Well, okay, there's 5 trading days in a week. I got it. Look, I know there's a lot of people in this room right now that like to smoke cigars, right? When's the last time you smoked a Cuban cigar for less than 30 bucks? And that just goes up in smoke. So, look, I mean, this is ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous offer we have at VectorVest. I'm not embarrassed whatsoever in saying that, because look, the level of training and education that you're going to get for an hour and a half a day. We get together at 9 a.m. and we depart at 10:30. You get one of VectorVest's very top traders, okay, which would be either me, Glenn, or Jerry, for an hour and a half a day. And we do nothing but talk about, look, these trades look good today, right? We also will, from time to time, call on everybody to throw their stocks that they're interested in into the list that we may or may not have already found, and we look at those stocks. You know, there's just a lot of stuff that you're going to learn in here. You're going to learn how to use all different kinds of technical analysis to make better decisions. And so all of that, hour and a half a day for less than $29 is I've told them to put 2 zeros behind it, man. I mean, so vectorvest.com/thrive. If you want, what I want you to do is get in the room, because I know if you get in the room, you're going to be another 10-year veteran, just like all the rest of them, okay? So my goal right now, just get you in the room. $29, that ought to do it. www.vectorvest.com/thrive. That's all you got to do. Go there, sign up. You'll be in Monday. Go there, sign up. You'll be in Monday. I'm going to put it in the chat. If there's any questions, feel free to ask. On YouTube, sorry guys, I can't see the chat there, but you guys know what to do. Just get over here and test drive it, and let us help you out. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Olivia. Sorry. Yeah, I saw the couple of chats before that, but yeah, they did let me know. Thank you. Thank you for double checking. Sorry I didn't get to you sooner. All right. Any questions, guys? Now's the chance. You don't get a hold of me this easily all that often, so now's the chance. If you got a question, ask away. I'll give you about 30 seconds here just to make sure. I don't like leaving anyone short on learning what they need to learn. Okay, Dr. DeLito instilled that in me. How much after the trial? So that's a good question. It's roughly $2,900, okay, for a year. So when you click on that link, it will take you to this. Don't get sucked into reading all this other stuff. You're going to learn all about this stuff as you go. I tried to make it as simple as possible to give you as much bang for the buck as possible. But roughly, it's going to be $2,900. So it says $2,590 a year for real time in Derby, but then you have exchange fees. Okay. Then you have exchange fees. So it is in the bottom left corner. There's where your prices and everything are going to be. But it's $2,590 a year. What automated strategy are you working on? So I did show how we find right now. I would be buying from Smooth Comfort with the automated strategy. I showed you the automated strategy in the webcast. It's using those 2 modes, the vary the start date and the sliding window, to find the best search. And then on the primary wave update, I wasn't in there this week. Okay. Those guys don't like doing stuff when I'm not in there. So doing that kind of stuff. So anyway, I have documentation in the room. There are people that are doing it. Even though we haven't turned ours on yet. But Smooth Comfort is the search, and then we use a 28-7 stop loss. So 28 target, 7 loss. So 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio, okay? And it's profit locker, so there's lots of trades where you get stopped out, 9, 14, 16%. We don't have to get all the way to 28 to make money. It's kind of a floating stop loss, okay? It's more than a trail. It's kind of a hybrid from a trail, float, ratchet. It combines all the nice attributes of all 3 of those different kinds of stops. It's called Profit Locker, okay? Everybody's got it. And if you're in this group, you'll have it. But we use 28-7. So Smooth Comfort 28-7. Good way to go right now. How cool is that? Our sessions also recorded for later viewing. They are. Yeah. And we do put out alerts. So one of the really nice things about the chat room that we moved into this year is I can now shut trades down in the middle of the day and tell you guys by alert instead of having to wait till the next morning. That's been huge. Huge. So, we have an alert system as well. And we might buy some things later in the day because like on Monday where the market didn't heat up until late afternoon, I put out alerts on Monday. So we wouldn't have been able to do that in years past without the chat room. So it's really helped out. Huge advantage. All right, guys, thanks for coming. And hopefully we'll see you in there next week. I'll be there Monday morning. I've got a root canal Monday afternoon. Yeah. So at least I'll be able to talk Monday morning. We'll see you there if you're there. All right. Good luck, guys. Good luck. We'll see you soon. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.